This is Twit.
This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell all your used gadgets. Find out what your used iPhone, iPad, and other Apple products are worth at gazelle.com. Welcome to iFive for the iPhone, episode 154. iFive covers the latest iPhone apps, tips, and tricks, and of course, some news. I am Megan Maroney. Number 1. On a previous episode, I told you about my favorite podcast app, Instacast. Mike Polinsky from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, recently wrote in to say, unfortunately, the company behind Instacast has closed down. I've since switched to Pocket Casts. Thanks, Mike. While Instacast will technically still work, I decided to try Pocket Casts, and I do love it. The app is easy to use and gives you a lot of ability to control whether you download or stream podcasts, so you can manage that delicate balance between preserving storage space on your phone and not wasting all your bandwidth limits on streaming. Let's take a look at some of my favorite features. The controls are very big and easy to use. Later on in the show, I'll talk about the controls in Apple Music, which are very tiny, but I digress. To find more podcasts and Pocket Casts, you can search by featured, category, networks, top charts, or just search by keyword. Delete episodes with a swipe or mark your favorites by tapping the star on the episode so you can easily find it later. You can also make up next playlists of podcasts simply by choosing the episode and tapping the plus sign. Pocket Casts even lets you create custom filters for audio or video podcasts, played, unplayed, or unfinished podcasts. If you love a podcast and you want to share it with your friends, hint, hint, open the episode, tap the share button, and then tap share or link to episode. Number 2 is better reminders. John asks, my wife and I both use our iPhones to remind us when to take our medications. I've been setting up reminders in the calendar app, but it is semi-reliable. The problem is, if I'm not using the phone actively when the alert time occurs, all the phone does is beep. And if I miss the beep because I'm occupied with another task, then I miss the reminder entirely. What I'd like to see is a notification that appears when I unlock the phone next. Is there a way to do this? My first suggestion for John is to use alarms instead of reminders. If you set an alarm for a certain time, it will keep ringing until you tell it to stop or until you destroy your phone like Tom Brady. You probably already know this, but alarms work even when you have the sound turned off on your phone. The reminder will be very hard to miss. You can create an alarm by asking Siri, set an alarm for 9:30 a.m.
Your 9:30 a.m. alarm is on.
Or just open alarms, tap the plus, and set the time. Tap repeat to choose the frequency. Create the label and then choose your sound. There are 2 problems with this. 1, if you have to take medication more than 1 time a day, you'll have to set separate alarms for each time. Again, Siri is the easiest way to do that, I think. 2, maybe you don't want an alarm to go off and bother everyone around you. Maybe John already knows how easy it is to set separate alarms and really just wants to see that reminder next time he unlocks his phone. For that, I recommend using a widget on the Today screen. This will, of course, involve remembering to use the Today screen. But to get to the Today screen, swipe down. To add a widget, scroll to the bottom and then tap Edit. You can either use the Today Summary widget if you've already added the reminders to take your medicine, or you can just use the Calendar widget. Or you can use the Reminders app widget. If you're not in the habit of looking at the Today screen, you might want to try a medication reminder app. A few months ago, a viewer named James wrote in to recommend a medication reminder app called Mango Health. James said it's mostly free of ads and it doesn't require any personal information to use on a single device. If you wish to use it on several devices, you just sign up for an account. The app lets you schedule multiple medications individually, has a visual description of the medication so you know what it'll look like, and tells you if medications interact badly with each other. There's also an Apple Watch app. If anyone else has a suggestion for John, email me at megan@twit.tv. Number 3. In regards to my episode last week on navigation apps, Alan from North Carolina writes, I had not heard of Here Maps before, so I'm going to give it a try. Another app that I would recommend is Maps.me, which appears to be very similar. I've used it for years. It's especially nice in some of the rural areas I travel through that have little or no cell coverage. They're very good at keeping their maps updated. I downloaded Maps.me and I like it too. It uses the OpenStreetMaps platform like Scout, one of the other nav apps that I mentioned last week. And speaking of Scout, Scout is US only, but Maps.me is not. If you want free maps of all countries, Maps.me is a much better option. And as Alan mentioned, you can use those offline maps when you're in rural areas where you don't have cell coverage. Offline maps also gives you the ability to avoid ringing up crazy charges for bandwidth if you're traveling abroad. Maps.me also offers an Apple Watch app and an iPad app, and it is free in the App Store. This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Gazelle. The iPhone 6S versions are rumored to come out this fall, and you might want to consider getting some cash for your old phone from Gazelle. Gazelle offers great deals on trade-ins for your old devices. You can also buy certified phones from Gazelle. If you've lost or broken your phone, a certified pre-owned device is a great way to buy a low-cost replacement device. Here's what you need to know if you're buying a phone from Gazelle. All devices have been put through a rigorous 30-point inspection to ensure they're fully functional. Certified pre-owned devices are backed by a 30-day risk-free return policy. Here's what you need to know if you're selling your old phone to Gazelle. You get paid fast within a few days of your item being received. Gazelle will also wipe your data for free. The whole process is very, very fast. What's your iPhone worth? Take a minute and go to gazelle.com to find out. Number 4 is Google's Spotlight Stories. This app debuted in May for Android, and now it has come to iOS. Google Spotlight Stories features 4 360-degree video stories that you can watch on your phone, including a film called Help from Justin Lim of Fast and Furious fame. If you've used the Google Cardboard app, then you might have already seen the Windy Day movie. Like Google Cardboard, you follow the action by moving your phone around like this. You can also follow the action by swiping. I guarantee that the stories in the app are much more interesting to watch than watching me watch the stories in the app. The app is free in the App Store. Number 5 is a little tip for Apple Music users. Finn from Sydney, Australia wrote, "Whenever I select an album or playlist, my Up Next queue populates itself with the first track in the list indefinitely, playing the same song over and over. This happens if I click on a single track in the beginning or the middle of the list, or if I click on the play icon at the top of the list." Now, I was stumped until Finn wrote back to answer his own question. Thanks, Finn. He said that he'd accidentally tapped the repeat button, and I have had the same issue. It's pretty easy to accidentally do this and have no idea what's going on. The icon is very tiny. For a while, my songs started repeating, and I thought I was accidentally adding songs to playlists twice. Then I thought I was just going bonkers. If this happens to you, just press the repeat button. Sometimes you have to tap it twice to clear it. And that does it for this episode. Thank you for watching. All of the apps, links, and other info from the show can be found at twit.tv/iFive. You can email ideas, questions, or general feedback to iFive at twit.tv, or you can leave us a voicemail at 614 on iFive. I'm Megan Maroney. We'll see you next week on iFive for the iPhone.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.